Charles knew his bees before he saw them. The silence that afternoon was louder than any swarm. Then he spotted it, a dark shape crumpled in the tall grass, too still, too green.
That's no traveler. That's an orc. Tusks, pale green skin, and bees. Stingers still embedded.
He pressed 2 fingers to her throat, faint pulse, chest barely rising.
1,000 stings. She must have stumbled right into the hives. Walk away. It's not your fight. They'll say you should have let her die.
But his hands were already moving, rolling her gently, cradling her head, the weight of a stranger against his chest. 60 years old, and maybe he was a fool, but he'd seen enough death to know when to fight it. He staggered upright, the orc woman limp in his arms, and turned toward the cottage. No time to waste. The cottage door gave without resistance. He carried her inside, her breath shallow against his neck on the narrow bed. He laid her down and began unfastening the leathers, careful of the swollen limbs. The jerkin peeled away, revealing angry welts where dozens of stingers still clung.
Too many. I need to draw them out, or she won't survive the night.
A basin of cool water, a clean cloth. He set them beside the bed and dipped the rag.
Emma always said, cool the skin before the fever takes hold. Slow the heart.
He pressed the compress to her forehead, then her neck, whispering the old instructions like a prayer.
I am here, girl. Don't you quit on me.
The first hour passed without change. Then 2. The cottage settled into darkness. He sat back, drained. Her pulse had steadied, but she was far from safe. He would watch until dawn. Dawn crept through the crooked shutters, pale and indifferent. Charles had not moved from the chair. He pressed a hand to her brow. The heat still clawed at her skin, a furnace beneath the green. Honey water, the old remedy for shock. He spooned it past her swollen lips, drop by drop.
You hear me? I don't know your name or your clan, but you are safe here. I promise.
He talked to fill the silence, about the bees, the meadow, the woman who once made this cottage a home.
Emma would have known the right words. She always knew how to call a soul back.
On the 3rd day, the fever broke, her skin cooled, and her breathing found a deeper rhythm, a twitch of the fingers, a flutter under the eyelids. Something inside her was clawing toward the surface.
Come on, then. I am not giving up. Neither should you.
But her eyes stayed closed, and Charles stayed in his chair, hollow-eyed, waiting for the dawn he'd stopped believing in. Charles had not meant to doze. The chair held him with the memory of 100 other vigils, but a sound pulled him back, a rustle of sheets, a soft exhale that wasn't his own. He looked up. The orc woman's eyelids were twitching. Then, slowly, they lifted. Water.
Here. Small sips. You've been out a long time.
She tried to lift a hand, but it fell back, too weak. He held the rim to her mouth. A shudder ran through her as the cool water soothed her throat. Then her eyes drifted shut again. Charles let out a breath he'd been holding for 3 days. The faintest smile crossed his face.
She'll live. After all that, she's still fighting.
He pulled the quilt higher and sat back. The morning light felt different now, almost kind. By the following dusk, she sat against the headboard, her green skin pale but her eyes alive.
My name is Corlith.
Charles Wainwright. You've been unconscious 4 days. Your throat must feel like sand.
He fetched more water, noting how her gaze kept drifting to the window, toward the hum outside.
That sound outside. Bees, those are yours?
58 hives. They've been my living for 30 years.
Her brow furrowed, not with confusion, but with the quiet intensity of someone who understood more than they revealed.
She knows her way around an apiary. That's no casual question.
You must show me the hives. Tomorrow. I'll not wait longer.
He insisted on one more day of rest before any tour. She gritted her teeth but agreed, the fire in her gaze promising a reckoning. The next morning, Corlith limped into the meadow without waiting for help, her eyes fixed on the hives. Charles caught up at the first row, lifting a frame, golden comb, thick and dripping.
This yield, it's 3 times what we pull from twice the hives. How?
No smoke, unless necessary. Gentle hands, you listen to the queen's rhythm.
Corlith extended a trembling hand, a single bee settling on her finger. She didn't flinch.
My family's hives are brutal. We force the queens. The bees suffer. No one listens.
Your family keeps bees.
In a manner of speaking, but not like this. Never like this.
She turned to him, the pride of a born competitor, mingling with something rarer, respect.
Teach me. I'll stay until I understand every piece of it.
For a full week, Charles opened each hive to her, explaining the cycles of bloom and rot, the quiet language of the queen. She absorbed it like parched earth drinking rain, asking questions no simple traveler would think to ask.
Why do you rotate the brood frames? We never did that.
To keep the colony from swarming. A restless hive is a hive that will abandon you.
At dusk, they sat on the cottage steps, a jar of honey between them. Her silence had weight.
I haven't been honest, Charles. My true name is Corlith Mosgrin. My family runs the Honey Mountain Trading House, the largest mead empire in the Orc lands.
The words hung in the evening air. He waited, letting her choose how much to share.
I wandered off during a hunt, sick with heat. My retainers are searching for me.
I reckoned you were no ordinary traveler, but you needed help, not questions.
They'll find me within days, and when they do, I'll be dragged home before I've learned enough.
Then, we'll make those days count double. I'll teach you from first light to last.
From a belt pouch, she drew a heavy handful of gold coins. The metal glinted in the dying light.
Name your price, Charles. I can pay 10 times what you'd earn in a year.
I don't want your gold. Teaching you was never about money.
Then why? Every human I've met values coin above all else.
Someone I loved taught me that knowledge shared isn't knowledge lost, and I've been alone too long.
She stared at him, the concept of debt without gold foreign to her.
Then I will stay until I am dragged from here and learn everything you can teach. Every dawn, every dusk.
We'd best start early then. The sun will be up in 6 hours.
The next days blurred into a single lesson. Dawn inspections, midday rotations, dusk harvests.
When the bees grew agitated, you didn't reach for smoke. Why?
Smoke blinds them. I'd rather show I am not a threat.
She watched him calm, a panicked hive with nothing but patience. His hands slow and sure.
This is not weakness. This is the kind of strength my clan has never understood.
That evening, they shared a simple meal of bread and honey. The silence between them no longer felt strained.
In my family, respect is earned through bloodshed. But you solve problems without breaking anything.
My wife taught me that. She said the world breaks enough on its own. We don't need to add to it.
I never had anyone speak to me like this. Like I was someone worth teaching.
He looked at her across the table, seeing not an heiress or an orc, but a kindred soul aching for connection. Thunderous hooves shattered the dawn. 3 riders in dark armor emerged from the tree line.
Human, a highborn orc passed this way. You will tell us where she is.
Charles stood in the doorway, unmoving. His gaze traveled over the scarred leader, the heavy axe.
She's recovering inside. She'll speak when she's ready, not a moment before.
Step aside, human, or I will move you.
The orc's hand tightened on the axe haft. Charles's pulse hammered, but his feet stayed planted. From the dim interior, a voice cut through the morning, steady and cold as riverstone.
Rogash, lower your weapon. This man saved my life, and you will show him the respect you owe me.
The scarred orc froze, disbelief flickering across his face. Slowly, he released the axe. Corlith stepped fully into the light, her recovery undeniable. The retainers exchanged uneasy glances.
Lady Corlith, you are returning with us. The war chief commands it.
I will not. My business here is not finished.
What business, this human? He is nothing but a hermit who plays with insects.
He is the man who saved my life when my own kind would have left me for dead. You will show him respect.
Rogash's gray skin flushed darker, his pride struck. He took a half step back, but his eyes hardened.
You would defy the clan over a human who taught you beekeeping.
He taught me that strength is not measured by blood spilled. That is why I am staying.
A tense silence swallowed the clearing. The other retainers glanced at Rogash, waiting for a command that did not come.
The war chief will hear of this defiance. I cannot shield you.
I never asked for a shield. Tell the war chief I will explain myself when I am good and ready. By salt and sting, I am bound to this man.
The salt and sting debt is sacred. You would make this human your kin.
He saved my life when no other would. Deny it if you dare.
Rogash's face drained of color. He stepped back, the axe lowering to his side.
I cannot deny the old law. The war chief will hear of this. We will return for your explanation.
The retainers mounted and rode off, the morning sun glinting off their armor. Charles could only stare after them.
What does it mean, this salt and sting?
It means I owe you a life debt, Charles. I am bound to you as kin.
She withdrew a small linen pouch from her belt, coarse salt spilling into her palm.
Salt for sustenance, sting for sacrifice. By orc law, you are my family now.
Corlith strode to the door, flinging it open, and shouted into the morning.
Rogash, hold. You will hear one more thing before you report.
The scarred orc reined in his mount, turning back with a scowl.
I will form a new house, the Honey Mountain Reformed Apiary. Charles Wainwright will be my equal partner.
You cannot be serious. A human as partner. The clan will never accept such madness.
They will, when they see his methods. You will take this proposal to Elder Yashra yourself.
My duty is to bring you home, not to peddle human schemes.
Your duty is to obey your heiress. Tell the elder I will answer in person, with my partner.
A long, hard moment passed. Then Rogash spat on the ground and wheeled his horse. He would deliver the word. The elder would decide. And with that, Charles's old life hung by a single thread. The cottage door closed, sealing them in a fragile quiet. Corlith sat at the table, the salt pouch between them.
The debt means more than you think. You will be honored as a wise uncle, counsel to my house.
Wise uncle? I've been a widowed beekeeper for years. Nothing more.
You will want for nothing, Charles. But you must come to the clan lands and prove your worth.
Leave this cottage? Emma's memory is in every board. This was our world.
But the silence of that world had become a shroud. He'd been waiting to join her.
Take the night. Think on what you want your remaining years to mean.
I need to sit with the bees. They've always helped me think.
She nodded, and he stepped out into the twilight, the hum of the hives calling him. The bees were settling for the night. He needed their wisdom more than ever. At first light, Rogash appeared at the meadow's edge alone, his horse snorting steam in the cold dawn.
The elder will hear your proposal, but only if Charles Wainwright comes to face the council himself.
To leave this cottage is to tear myself from Emma's shadow. But staying means dying inside it.
His eyes fell on the empty chair by the hearth, Emma's chair. The silence there had lasted 3 years.
Corlith, tell Rogash I'm coming.
He fetched his leather satchel, placing within it a smoker, a hive tool, and a small jar of honey. Corlith waited by the door, her own pack ready, and gave him a solemn nod. Charles locked the cottage door for what felt like the last time, and did not look back. They fell into step behind Rogash, the meadow, giving way to the tree line and the long road north. Whatever waited beyond those trees, Charles knew he would not face it alone. The forest swallowed them for 2 days, sun filtering through ancient pines.
My grandmother was the first female war chief. She said a hive's strength is its queen, not its soldiers.
She sounds like a wise leader. I wish I could have met her.
On the second night, Corlith shared dried meat spiced with a heat that made his eyes water.
This is fiercer than any honey I've ever tasted.
That's the taste of resilience. Orcs don't have the luxury of sugarlands.
By the third morning, the trees thinned and jagged peaks came into view. At noon, they saw the city of stone, its gates carved with old symbols.
I've never seen an orc city before. It looks like a place that does not welcome strangers.
Charles gripped the strap of his satchel and walked forward. The home he'd known now, just a memory behind him. The council chamber was a ring of stone and torchlight. 5 elder orcs regarded Charles with iron stares. One leaned forward, her hair silver, her eyes sharp. You claim your hives produce more than ours. Prove it.
I don't force the bees. I listen to their rhythm. Gentle hands. No smoke unless needed.
He lifted a frame from his satchel. Golden comb, thick and dripping. A murmuring ran through the hall. The silver-haired elder spoke again. How does a human know such things when our best warriors fail?
Because I am not a warrior. I solve problems with patience, not steel.
The elders watched as he described cycles of bloom and rot, the quiet language of the queen. At last, the silver-haired elder rose. The council is satisfied. Charles Wainwright shall be master craftsman. Charles exhaled. Beside him, Corlith allowed a rare, fierce smile. The Honey Mountain Reformed Apiary had just been born, not with a battle cry, but with a single frame of gold. A scroll of orcish vellum was unrolled across the stone table. The ink dried quickly as Charles dipped the quill.
I never imagined my name would carry weight beyond that little cottage.
It will carry the weight of mountains now. Honey Mountain.
That evening, away from the council, Corlith summoned him to a small room lit by a single candle. From her belt, she drew the linen pouch once more, and a dried bee sealed in amber.
By salt and sting, I name you kin. Charles Wainwright. You are now uncle to the Mosgren house.
Charles' throat closed. 3 words he never thought to hear again. Family, belonging, home.
I've been alone so long. I almost forgot what this feels like.
You are alone no longer. The debt is sealed.
She set the salt and the bee upon the signed charter, and the candle flickered as if in witness. A full turn of seasons passed. The new apiary stretched across the hillside like a white promise. Charles had 3 young orc apprentices now. He showed them how to read the bees, not command them. One of the young orcs, barely past his first tusk, whispered to another, "Listen to the teacher. He knows the queen's mind." The name stuck like honey.
Your methods have tripled our yield, Charles. The clan's storehouses overflow.
The bees did the work. I just got out of their way.
At the harvest festival, Charles sat at the long table beside Corlith, her children climbing onto his lap. He looked around the hall at green faces turned to him with the ease of true family.
This is what Emma wanted for me. Not a tomb of memories, but a living home.
A cup was raised in his name, to Uncle Charles, the bee speaker. The room roared. The years had silvered Charles' hair and grooved his face, but his eyes still followed the bees with the same quiet reverence. The door opened softly. Corlith entered, her own braids now streaked with gray, yet her presence no less commanding. She drew a chair beside him, the silence between them no longer needing words.
You built more than an apiary, Charles. You gave us a philosophy, a gentle strength.
A faint smile crossed Charles' face, reaching his eyes for the first time in what felt like decades.
I only did what Emma asked that last time. Be kind when it matters most.
Corlith gave a slow nod, understanding the weight of a promise kept.
A single choice on a Tuesday afternoon, and I got a second life.
Through the window, the bees danced over the Honey Mountain Reformed Apiary, and the hum was the sound of a full heart. He was the richest man she knew, not for the honey, but for the lives he'd touched. One autumn morning, Charles did not rise with the sun. Corlith found him still, a faint smile on his lips. She closed his eyes with a hand that did not tremble, though her heart cracked. His passing was quiet as he'd wished. No pain, only the hum of bees through the open window. The orc rites were simple: a circle of salt, a jar of his finest honey, and the dried bee from the charter.
Goodbye, Uncle Charles. May the mountain remember you.
They laid him to rest in the apiary meadow, a stone carved with a bee rising toward the sun. His name was etched in both languages, and below it, a single word: teacher. Corlith lingered after the others had gone, the weight of salt still in her hand,
The debt is paid, but the bond remains beyond death.
and the bees, undisturbed, continued their work over the meadow, oblivious to the grief of orcs. Seasons passed over the apiary like gentle tides. New hives dotted the hillside, and new keepers learned the old ways. Corlith knelt beside a young orc child, pointing toward the bees. Her voice was softer now, but no less sure. The child pointed toward the stone with the carved bee, a bundle of wildflowers clutched in a small green fist.
That marks the teacher, a human who showed us that the greatest strength is not to break but to heal.
The child toddled forward and placed the flowers at the base of the stone, a silent promise wrapped in petals. Corlith watched, and for a moment, the weight of years lifted. The cycle continued. Above the apiary gate, the sign still read, Honey Mountain Reformed Apiary in worn letters, a testament to an unlikely partnership. The bees danced their eternal dance, oblivious to the names carved, yet fulfilling the promise made in salt and sting. It was never about the honey. It was about the home, and that home still hummed, a melody of kindness that crossed the divide between worlds.